Hi, this is Luca De Stefani, or Big Luca from lucadestefani.com, my self-publishingrevolution.com, and my videocourserevolution.com. And today I'm here interviewing my student Brian Shapley. And the reason I'm interviewing him is because he created a killer course about outsourcing your self-publishing or Kindle publishing business. So without any further introduction, I'm going to hand it over to Brian so he can introduce himself and talk to you about his Kindle Autopilot, which is his newly released course. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how's it going, Luca?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm always all right.
Good.
So, yeah, I was wondering if you could tell, my viewers about your newly released Kindle Autopilot and why you released it and what this course does for people.
Sure. So I'll try to give kind of a basic overview of what the course is. So I created Kindle Autopilot as a way for either new self-publishers or people that have been in the game for a little bit to start to systematize their business. So one of the great things about Kindle publishing, we know that it's a great process for anyone to actually create passive income in a relatively short amount of time. Obviously, your course proves that it's the best course on the market in terms of teaching people exactly what they need to do. But the issue is that everyone's going to teach the process, but no one's going to teach you how to systematize that. So what that ends up doing is you learn the process of self-publishing, but in order to scale it up, it's only limited, or it is limited rather, by the amount of work you can do. So there's only so many hours in the day, and so once those hours run out, you can't do any more work. And so what I've attempted to do successfully, I believe, with Kindle Autopilot is create all of the material and basically take your process and show people how they can start to systematize it by using VAs and start outsourcing some of those non-income producing tasks that are necessary to get the book to produce money, but actually aren't effective in terms of what makes you money. So as an example, we know that from your course, we really know that, and from all the success that people have had on your course, we know that the biggest thing that we need to concentrate on is keywords. Keywords. That's basically it. And so what I identified is basically there's probably about 20 to 25 tasks that you need to do from A to Z to get your book to actually create money. And so when you look at all those tasks, only about 25% of those tasks are really what you need to focus on to create money. And most of that centers around keywords and content. And so everything else can be outsourced. So what that essentially does is give you 75% of your time back as a self-publisher. So now you can concentrate on that 25% that makes you money. You can outsource everything else, and you can effectively scale up your business.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, admittedly, I slacked over those things because, well, I myself outsource my self-publishing business, but, sometimes I can't be bothered explaining things that are obvious but useful. I mean, as soon as I took a look at your course, I realized that, some things that I perceive to be obvious are not. I mean, even how to register a Fiverr account, and it made a lot of sense. So I personally, I spend a lot of time explaining things to my VAs and going back and forth. But for example, I couldn't be bothered recording a video lesson for them and then giving them the link and because, my reasoning was I can just, I was creating the video course at the time and it's going to be much more profitable. But at the end of the day, they have to know what to do. And so I was quite impressed by the quality of your course. And one good thing that you did was, you have lessons talking to like the publisher, but then you created lessons like talking directly to the VAs, so for example, and that's a very good thing because basically you took the bother of actually producing them, and all a publisher has to do is to pay the small fee. I believe is like $147, but whatever. Time is very valuable because I mean everybody could do this, but they have to spend hours, and that's the reason I didn't. I mean, I could totally create, lessons explaining VAs what they have to do, but I couldn't be bothered. And so I think there is a lot of value, which happens to be the buzzword today. But in your case, it's valuable, and the cool thing is that you start, the process is the one of my course, which is, as you said, the best one. Because there are 2 or 3 other outsourcing things out there, but, the outsourcing has to be based on a process, and the other process must be wrong. As I was yesterday produced a video in which I explained that since the Amazon algorithm is one, I don't know why 3 or 4 different Kindle courses say, 3 or 4 different things, because the algorithm is one. And so the process is only one, and your course is based on that. And so you already have great feedback you were telling me about before. So you already have students that have gone through your course and have got value, right? Talk to me a bit about that. So the feedback you have received, and you have added lessons as well recently.
Yeah, so I've gotten really good feedback from everyone. I mean, one of the best things about the course that I really wanted to do is, again, like you said, this is not hard stuff to teach, but if you're to go and make training videos and give those to your VAs, it would take, I mean, I work nonstop on this for over a month, and we're talking 3 or 4 hours a day I'm working on it, and I'm continually trying to think of it, and I have to break down the process. And so really, I think the biggest part is that when you combine your course and my course, it basically reinforces each other. So everything that you teach is things that I'm going to be teaching your VA. And so the process of duplication, that's what's powerful about this, because I'm taking your course and basically teaching, not only reinforcing that to the self-publisher, but I'm going to reinforce those habits with the VA. And I think with the feedback that I've gotten, I think that's one of the most important things, is that it's going to help you recreate the same process in someone else, so that you can just have that person do what you're supposed to do, but you get the money from it. You get the investment, or you get the return on investment from it for very little in terms of the outsourcing process, in terms of the outsourcing cost. So I think at the end of the day, the feedback that I've gotten is that it's very thorough. I basically, like I said, I break down your process, and I break it down probably, like you said, the parts that maybe you missed, I fill in the gaps. So basically, this is just reinforcing your course, helping fill in a little bit of the gaps that maybe were missed, just because you're pretty much just do this, don't ask questions type of guy, which is great. But I know there's a lot of other guys out there, and a lot of other girls, obviously, that might be a little bit more detail-oriented, like myself. And so I basically just took all those details that I knew you already knew, you just may not have said, and I fill in those cracks. So at least from the feedback that I've gotten, it's a really good reinforcement, and basically, takes the pressure off of people trying to make a couple of those other decisions that maybe they weren't too clear about when they first started publishing and using your course.
Yeah, exactly. I got a couple of feedbacks as well on your course, because sometimes people write to me about things that I talk about, and I'm just, no, go to Brian, don't ask me things. And they were quite impressed, and it's very convenient. Again, you just give the link of the lesson to your VA, and they can just go ahead, and this eliminates the problem of actually giving the VA the lesson, because the lesson is going to be very big, and sometimes it's messy. And one of the things I was quite impressed with because I've already produced a couple of video courses, well, officially, then I have, well, whatever. But anyway, I know how much work you have to put into producing a video course, and people sometimes don't get this, because it's like, sometimes I hear people say, oh, I bought a video course, but the content was freely available on YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, right, but you have to spend hours piecing it together. That's what you don't get. I mean, the 40, 100, 150, 200, 300 bucks that you spend on a video course, it's like buying a book. I mean, I am quite sure that when you buy a book, if you were to look for YouTube videos about each of the chapters, you would find that. But the convenience and the value is that it's all bundled together. And so I was quite impressed with the quality, because for example, one thing I really don't care about, and I should care about it more, is the visual impact of everything. So graphically, I could improve my video courses. I know that probably I will. But your video course is graphically very, very pleasant, and the pitch page is very good. So kudos to you. And you came out with the video course in about a month, I believe, ever since you bought my course on how to create a video course. About a month after your video course was ready, which is impressive. So just congratulations about that, because I'm now creating my third video course, and I'm like, come on now. I would like to outsource that. If you produce a video course about how to outsource the video course creation, I'll be your client. Because I mean, it's a mess. And so, I'm happy you produced this video course, and I'm sure it will help a lot of people, and it's helping a lot of people as well. I advise anybody that is into Kindle publishing to get this. It comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. which I don't agree on, but what can you do? Because I know there are people getting inside, and it pisses me off because it's unprofessional. They try to get in, steal the material, and then just use it without paying you, which is just about like getting into a restaurant, eat a lobster, and then walk out and say, well, I didn't find value in the lobster. Right. And things like that. Anyway, Brian is very mindful about that. So if you get eliminated, you will not have access to the lessons anymore, and your VA will just cry. The price point to me is very convenient. It's now. So if you're watching this video now, as of today, is $146 or $7, I believe. 147.
Yeah. It's 149 right now.
149, which is if you consider the amount of hours, and if you divide the price points by the hours spent, you just get the point. I mean, it's that's slave labor. It's less than minimum wage to you. So but the price point will go up. This is something that I agree with, and Brian had the idea of actually shooting up the price. I believe he has to do it because there is value, and you have a lot of lessons as well. This is not a 10-course lesson. This is what impressed me. It's how many lessons do you have about?
I think with the new videos I added, the total videos, obviously there's a thank you video, so let's don't count that.
Yeah.
33 videos.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of lessons, and they're lengthy lessons, and you really, I admired you because you talk very, very slowly and very detailedly, if there is something like that. I don't know, but like you get into any detail, all the details, and I usually don't do it because I'm straight to the point. But there are situations, and I'm noticing it with now I'm producing a course about affiliate marketing, is that sometimes you cannot be straight to the point because otherwise you miss steps. And sometimes I'm just, well, of course, you all have a ClickBank account, right? So let's get to the point. And then I realized that, no, it's not obvious, Luca. Come on, maybe they don't know what ClickBank is. And as you show in your video course, maybe people don't know how to upload a book or how to create a Fiverr account. And then you successfully outsource pretty much everything. And all the publisher has to do is find keywords. You have a lessons about keywords, so your VA can venture into that. Now, one thing I'm talking, coming from my experience now, is that you have to train VAs to find keywords, because I'm going to tell now one of my experience. I was hiring this guy when I was scaling up my business. I was making about 7K at that point. And the following month, I went to over 10K, or it was slightly less than 10K. Then I went to 13, and then I started earning 10K a day with the camp. So but whatever, So I was outsourcing the business, and so I said, I want to outsource how to find keywords as well. I had already my bunch of keywords, and I wanted to get into different, niches. So I said, well, let's outsource them, since I'm making very good money with these keywords as well. And so I found this SEO expert on Upwork. And I was like, have you ever found keywords for Amazon? Because, of course, Amazon works differently from Google and YouTube. And she was like, yes, of course. And I was like, all right, pay me with an example of 2 or 3 keywords. I will not publish books in those. I don't care. Just show me that you can do. And one keyword was like, how to go to the bank and ask for a loan. And I was like, this is a Google keyword, all right? Stop bullshitting me. It will never work on Amazon. Can you see? It's a Google keyword, like, that would make for a good niche website. But of course, she knew nothing about keywords. And so I was like, do you know what Kindle Spy is? Do you pay me another example? And there were like long tail keywords of 7, 8 words that of course will never work on Amazon. So you really need a lesson on how to find keywords, because for us, it's obvious that the keyword must be, 1, 2, 3 words, but it ain't obvious for, again, VAs. So you really need to explain things to them, because of course they will, otherwise they get confused, because keyword is a buzzword. Keyword for Google is not a keyword for Amazon, and it's not a keyword for YouTube. So kudos to you for having created a lesson, because can you see the difference in approach? I just told her to fuck off, and I found keywords myself. So because I couldn't be bothered. That's a thing.
Exactly. That's one of the things too that I really wanted to impress upon people, is that if you do this right and you follow your methods and then pair that with Kindle Autopilot, you can essentially outsource your entire business. So what would it be worth to you if you're making, you don't have to make 10K. What if someone is, living somewhere where they got to make $3,000 a month? Well, with your course, that'll probably take 3 months.
Yeah, even less. It took less with people.
Yeah, exactly. And then you outsource that by just having a VA continue to do your process, and what will eventually end up happening if they do this right is you'll stop when you're making 3K. You'll go on vacation, you'll come back a month later, and you'll be making 4,500. And so that's the beauty of this. And it's also the reason why the training videos are so specific is because say you have a VA and you've trained them and it's all great, but then they get sick or they're in the hospital for a long time, or maybe they just decide to go on to something else. I mean, I don't know why they would, but this course will essentially allow you to plug someone in a lot faster because you're not going to have to do nearly as much training. If you had to sit there and tell VA how to find a keyword and how to do this and how to do that, I mean, I know it took me, over a month working 3 or 4 hours a day to make the course, but now you can essentially eliminate 90% of that work, have them go watch the videos and fill in, with maybe a 10 or 15 minute conversation about shoring up the details if they have any questions. But now you're able to just plug people in and think about what you could do if you had 3 or 4 guys creating books for you, and you're just sitting back and making all the money from it. I mean, it's a beautiful system.
It is a beautiful system. Yeah, you got a good point. Like if somebody jumps out, all the knowledge will be lost because if you're training face to face like we're doing right now. Let's suppose you're training me, and I get sick, then all the knowledge is lost because nobody will give me a phone call and ask me to teach them. So your course comes in, and you just give the link and say, well, here you go, just help yourself. Yeah, there is conveniency. There is literally, yeah, this is good. So congratulations, Brian. And I hope I'm sure your Kindle business is going strong as well. I know what kind of effort took you to complete the course. So, congratulations about that. The funny thing is that I have students that are able to teach a lot of things, but you're one of the few guys, and I would like, to say that actually took the course, applied the strategies, and in a month time came out with a lucrative, helpful, and valuable video course, because that's what you did. I mean, some people bought the course and they were like, oh, it's too complicated to create a video course. Did you encounter any difficulties in creating the video course? How was that?
I mean, honestly, not really. I mean, doing WordPress and using optimized press, I mean, that's going to be the easiest way, but there still is a little bit of, you got to have a little bit of creativity to, pick the outline of the pages and whatnot, and how you create the sales page and all that. I mean, there's a little bit of a creative thing that you need to sort of just have. And of course, you could pay someone to do that as well. But I mean, honestly, I just followed everything to the T, and it really wasn't super difficult for me to do. And most of it's repetition. So the most amount of time it took me was obviously just creating the lessons. And then from there, it's just a couple clicks of your mouse, and you can save page templates. So I used the same template for literally every single lesson, and just uploaded them, created a couple things here and there. I mean, it was definitely effort for sure, but in terms of being able to not follow it, I didn't find any problems with it at all. It was pretty straight and to the point.
All right.
So,
all right. Good. All right, so I guess our interview can end, and we thank Brian Shapley for his time, for his course. I'm going to put a link below this video from which you can purchase Kindle Autopilot. I urge you to do so now. If the price increases, no, there is no discount. Don't get in contact with me, all right? Just ask Brian, because I will not answer you, right? It's not my course, and it's not my grief. So, if you're angry at Brian because he has increased the price, it ain't my fault. I will just say that up front. And, if you're into Kindle publishing, what I always say is that just get in, look at the course. If anything, there is the refund. It's pretty stupid to not try things. And by the way, his course doesn't have any upsell as for now. So I usually advise people to buy the freaking upsell, but in this case, there is no sense. And so just get this course and really start outsourcing, because it can give you a boost, so you can save up time and maybe branch out to other things. So thank you, Brian. And thank you.
Thanks, Luca.
Bye-bye.